Welcome to today's show of What's Cookin'? Today we're going to be making two entrees for you, or two dishes. One is a Grapefruit Baked Alaska, and Norma is going to be making
a spaghetti frittata.
Yummy! And this could be something that you would make either for a brunch, breakfast, or even if you want, have breakfast for dinner.
Absolutely.
And you can add a salad.
Bread, you can have protein with it, but you can have it whenever. And also you can have it room temperature, cold or warm. So it's really, really flexible.
Except for the Grapefruit Baked Alaska, because you'd like that a little warm. But you know what? You can eat breakfast any time of day.
That's right.
It always works. And then if you want, at the end of the show, we're going to add a little mimosa to make it a little more festive. But you can have sangria, you can do water, coffee, whatever you want.
Whatever you want.
So I really like your apron.
Well, thank you. I got it from my sister, and I get aprons as gifts from various people because they know I love aprons. I collect them. How about you?
Well, as you know, I love the 99-cent store. This was from the 99-cent store. It's kind of a plastic, so when anything splashes, I take the sponge, wipe it off, and zip, I'm done. So it's really great and easy, and I like it. It's colorful and fun and makes me feel happy. It's springy. And but I too like to collect aprons. When we travel, we had the good fortune of going to France, and then also when we were in Romania, and sometimes when I make some dishes that are French or Romanian, I like to wear those aprons because it makes me feel a part of the country and that I'm involved in what's going on. And
it brings
just
back the memories.
It does, and the food tastes even better.
So anyhow, let's get to it. What do you got here?
I bought the ruby red grapefruit. You'll need some tropical type jam. So I'm using apricot pineapple. You can use apricot. You can even use an orange marmalade, but you want a citrusy type of grapefruit and a little bit of cream of tartar to make the egg whites real fluffy. And remember last segment I had talked about eggs, and if you want them really the whites to be at room temperature, so a good way to do it if you don't want to leave your eggs out overnight, you take the eggs out of the fridge, you put them in hot water, and then you just take it out. They're not cooking, they're not just warming it up to room temperature. So let's get started, and then I will show you all the things to do. So first off, we take our grapefruit, and I'll show you what I do to cut it. So I cut it in half, and as you see, we have this beautiful ruby red grapefruit. And sometimes you get little seeds, so you take those out. And you want to cut this really good. So you follow these veins here. So you cut down, and we're going to cut all the way around.
So you're cutting around the membrane of it.
Yes, and so it'll be easy to scoop out. So there's about 12 of these little sections. Okay. Then we cut down, and you angle your knife in this position. So you're cutting down so it will come out easier. And you cut all the way around. Be careful not to cut your fingers. And you cut, and here I'm at the end. Then the other thing, then I take my knife and I sort of go in the middle, and I cut the membrane from the middle towards the back. So again, you want all these to come out super easy. So you do like every 2 or 3, and you cut, and you cut, and it makes it super easy. And then all the membranes will pull out, or the sections of your grapefruit will pull out, because you want it super easy. Whoops, see, this one's a little stuck. Okay, so now these are all good, and we're ready to go. So I'm going to move on to the next section. And Norma, if you wouldn't mind cutting this one and this, and I'll move these over for you, and I'll take the bowl, and I'll show you our next thing that we're going to do. So as you see, I have a little ramekin because I don't need all of the egg yolk. So what I do is we're just going to do the egg yolk in here. So per grapefruit, figure 1, not the egg yolk. You don't want the egg yolk. I meant to say the egg white. So you just want the egg white you separate it from the egg yolk and you put it into the bowl. And then I put my egg yolk in this, and then you can use it for something else, like Norma could use it in her dish, adding to her eggs. And then we're ready to go. Some people, I'm going to show you this too. I saw this where they do the yolk. They put the yolk in their hand like so.
I was just going to say that's what I do.
And so you just go, and it seems to go through your hands like so, and then you put your egg yolk there. So take my handy dandy little clean rag, wipe my hands off. And now what we're going to do is you're going to take I have a mixer. You have to use a hand mixer to make this to go really well. And we're going to take this yolk, as you can see it moving around, and we're going to whip it up. The reason why you keep it at room temperature, it whips up much better and becomes a little stiffer. And then we add a little bit of cream of tartar to it, and that will make it
it holds a volume, doesn't it?
It adds a little volume, and it makes it a little stiffer so that it will be better. And then you're going to fold in the jam. So here I go. So as you can see, it is very liquidy right now, and as I keep stirring, then I will keep stirring it, and then the liquidy will become white peaks, and then we'll add cream of tartar, and that will make it like starch and become thicker, and then you fold in the jam. As you can see, it's light and fluffy, and it kind of peaks on its own. But we're going to add just a little of cream of tartar sauce. I would say about a half a teaspoon, as you can see. Put some in, and I'll make it just a little thicker. So let's do this again, and you'll see it whip up and be even more sturdy because you're going to be adding the jam and you want it to fold in nicely. Adding this, and you keep mixing and mixing and mixing, the peaks, the egg whites will become more like little mountain peaks.
So Deb, if you don't have cream of tartar at home, do you need to rush out to the market and buy it, or can you make it without? Or
you might be able to. It'll be a little bit more runny, so that's why we like to use it. And as you can see on here, this is the consistency that you want. So now you take your jam and you fold it in. Now this is about a cup worth. You can add a little less or a little more depending on how sweet you want it. So you carefully fold this in, and it adds some color to the egg whites. And you don't want to super mix it and make it really runny. So that's why you also might want to warm up your jam and just fold this in. And then if you can put that on the tray for me, please.
These? Okay.
And then you take your tray like so, and you just put it on. Now I have made this at night like this and had it ready because you know, if you're busy in the morning, if you're serving a lot of people, see, you can pile it on. It looks really pretty.
It does.
And it adds such a wonderful flavor. And see how it holds. So if we zip it around, and then you put it on here like so. And again, like I said, probably 1 egg per grapefruit. And actually do the other grapefruit. And then you're ready to go. So you can put this in the refrigerator and leave it overnight and then pop it in for the next morning. Or, excuse me, you can pop it in now. So through the magic of television, this is how it looks before it goes in. And when you're done, you see this beautiful
Oh, that's gorgeous.
flavored grapefruit. And the nice thing is it's all ready to go. You just use your spoon. And then one other thing, again, I always talk about presentation. Today we're not going to be doing table settings, but if you just take a simple doily, put it on a plate, put this on, and there you go. It's delicious and looks pretty. And even for yourself, if you just want to feel like you're in a restaurant. And the other thing that I always like to cook on is the parchment paper, because all you do, it's a little runny. You just fold it up and throw it away, and then your platter's pretty clean. So that's it for the Grapefruit Baked Alaska. And now let's go to Norma and her wonderful frittata.
So you see, now we're at the stove and we're going to be making a spaghetti frittata. And the wonderful thing about this is if you have leftover pasta, you can repurpose the pasta, whatever it is. In this case, it's going to be spaghetti, and make a whole nother dish.
That's a great idea, because I'm always like, what do I do with this?
Right,
I
exactly.
ended up throwing it away, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, now you get to do something new with it. So let's get cooking.
Okay.
All right. So we've got over here about 12 different ingredients. Do you need that many to make this? No. But I wanted to add to it to make it more vegetables and bulk it up a little bit. So you see, we're going to be sauteing here. We've got green onions. We've got a shallot, one shallot diced.
Mushrooms.
We've got 6 cremini mushrooms here.
So those are the brown mushrooms, right?
Yes, but you can use the white ones too.
Okay. And then do you use the stem and the whole thing? Because I normally just throw away the stem and only use the cap.
I use the stem, so I'm using everything.
Nothing goes to waste.
Nothing goes to waste.
And asparagus.
Asparagus, and that's about 6 asparagus.
Okay.
And I cut it at a bias, so at an angle, but you know what? You could cut it straight down and it doesn't
And then
matter.
we have some red onion.
No, that's a shallot, and that's
shallot.
one medium shallot
It
finely
looks
diced.
like a red onion,
Yeah,
so don't
it
get
does.
confused.
It does.
And then
Green onion, 2 green onions diced up.
and then some cherry tomatoes.
We've got cherry tomatoes, and there's about 12 of them, and I cut them in half.
And you can also get the colored tomatoes.
Yeah.
So the yellow and make it very
Really festive.
yes.
But in this case, I tried to keep down the costs, and you'll see by the end of the show how much this entire thing costs, and you'll be pleasantly surprised. And so we also have mozzarella cheese, we have Parmesan cheese, we have heavy cream, and we have eggs. We have 1 egg here. We're going to show you how to get that going. So
Do you want to do the egg first and then you can get the pan going?
okay, so with the egg, I know I always did it this way until recently, where you would cut it like that in half, but the correct way, or not correct, but the better way is to go down and then bring it apart. And the reason for that is if you're cutting it that way, the shell goes inside the egg, and you don't necessarily want that. So with that, Debbie, if you can whisk that.
Sure.
And I'm going to add, a little over a tablespoon of olive oil that I'm going to get a little bit out because it really poured out.
Here, I'll just take it.
Okay. And we get our olive oil, as we've been saying, from a local place in Los Alamitos, Antica. And
Brought you a rag.
oh, thank you. So sweet. Okay, so I'm gonna thank you.
Now sometimes I turn on my pan to get it hot before I add the olive oil. Is there a difference? Do you know if it's better, not better to put the olive oil in cold or put it in hot?
I'm not aware. I put it in cold, but if you've read that, that could be.
I'm just asking. I have
That's
no idea.
interesting too.
I always make my pan really hot and then add it. That's just me.
Okay, so Does it have to be olive oil? No, you can add regular canola oil, which has a higher burn rate than olive oil. So we're going to get this going, and to this we're going to add the mushrooms, the asparagus, the shallots, and the green onion, and we're going to saute that down for about 5 minutes. You'll see that I am not adding salt anywhere in this because the cheeses are so strong.
Right.
So
because there's like salt in the cheese.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you can always salt your food once you get it, but if you over salt it in the beginning, that makes it really difficult.
Okay, well that's warming up. I'm going to
You're going to add.
I'm going to beat this and then add
Yes,
the cream.
exactly.
So let me do that. And you can see.
Perfect. That's perfect. Okay, and then go add the cream. Okay, I'm putting this in. This is also a 10-inch pan. Okay. I'm going to dump everything in here. I typically use a non-stick, so this is a little bit different for me.
I want to turn it down.
Yeah, I'm dumping everything in here.
Find a duck.
Yes. Okay, all the stuff from the ramekins are going in here.
And do you want the tomatoes or you want to wait?
No, we're gonna wait on the tomatoes.
Okay.
Okay, so now I'm mixing it all around so that the oil covers things.
You need to add a little more?
Maybe. Do you have my little squirt bottle?
I do.
So I have this little thing that I absolutely love that was given to me as a gift from my son, one of the many cooking gifts. And I fill it with olive oil.
Antica olive oil.
Yes. I mean, how easy is that? So I use that a lot in place of using a non-cook, pan, non-cooking spray,
Yeah.
whatever. Okay, so it's coming around. It's noisy.
That is noisy.
All right, we'll let that go. Okay, so then as that is cooking, it'll take about 5 minutes. So in the meanwhile, you can add the cheese in there, Deb.
All the cheese?
Yes.
I love the cheese.
So that's 1.5 cups of mozzarella and 1/2 cup of Parmesan. And it can be the grated Parmesan or it can be shredded. I kind of did half and half.
And you can see on here, as I'm mixing it all up, it just kind of blends and covers the cheese.
Super thick. Okay, so I have to stop moving this around. Okay, to that you'll add the tomatoes
To the
to the mix. Okay, stir that around. You can use this instead of the whisk. Okay, and as soon as this is done, we're almost there. Now I'm turning it up again. I don't know about you, but I'm always playing with the heat.
Oh, I know, because you never quite know what to do.
No. Yeah, and I'm trying to move this along. But you can see it's coming together.
So it takes about 5 minutes?
More or less. So I try and get to get it all sauteed so it's not necessarily al dente but soft.
Okay.
So you want the asparagus to cook through, unless you like it a little bit
Crunchy?
crunchy. My husband doesn't like it that way, so we cook for our loved ones,
Yes,
right?
yes. All right, so let's let this cook for a few minutes.
Absolutely. Okay, while that's doing it, you can add that mix in there. So that is
This
a
is
half.
so easy,
It's a half.
right?
It's a 1/2 pound of spaghetti.
So can you also use thin spaghetti? I know Rob likes thin spaghetti.
Yes, you could. You could use thin spaghetti. You could use penne. You can use anything that you have. And I've even had some spaghetti with a sauce on it. And I did that, and I just used it. I didn't rinse it out. I just went ahead. I figured more's better,
Yes.
more flavor. So whatever you have in it, it's going to be all good.
Look how pretty this is. And imagine if you have different colors of the different tomatoes, of the yellow and the orange. It really makes it nice.
It really does. So, okay, I am a cook that cooks by taste and by feel. So the only way I know if it's done.
Here's a little ramekin to put it in if you want.
Oh, okay, I put it on your kind of, oh, it's hot. It's almost there.
Okay.
So the thing of it is once it's done, you cannot put it in there because of the egg and everything. It's going to curdle. So what you'll need to do is, I'm going to shut this off, is put it in a plate, a bowl, whatever you have. Again, I like to repurpose things. So this is a cake pan, which I use for everything but cakes. I don't make cakes, but it comes in handy. So now we're letting it cool down. So let's give that just a couple of minutes. And then once it's cooled down, we're going to add it to the mix, and we're almost there.
So then what do you do with it?
Then once we add it to the mix, again, we'll stir it up. Then we're going to put it back into this pan.
Do you add any more oil?
Yes, so I'll add just a little bit more oil to make sure that it doesn't stick. Okay,
Spray. That's a
spray.
great deal.
Isn't it? I love this thing. It makes.
And how long does this cook?
So it will go into the oven 400 degrees, and it depends on how many eggs and milk you use. I used 6 eggs. You can use 4 eggs. If the less pasta you have, the less sauce you're putting in there.
Okay.
But typically it'll be 400 degrees, and about 25 minutes you'll bring it out, and at the 25-minute mark you're going to sprinkle some cheese over it, and you're going to stick it back for
I love the extra cheese.
who doesn't? And then you're going to let it continue baking for another 5 minutes.
Okay.
So-
Now I see that you also have over there some pepper, some extra cheese, and green shallot.
That's parsley.
Parsley.
So, okay, thank you for reminding me. So this is, I'm just going to use my fingers just a little bit. I go by feel. I'm sorry, this looks like maybe a half a teaspoon.
Okay. But if you don't like pepper, you don't
have to put it in.
Okay. And then what about the parsley?
Parsley goes at the very end.
Okay.
Once it comes out. Okay.
Do you use fresh parsley or do you use the jarred parsley?
I use fresh Italian parsley, flat
Yum.
leaf.
Yum.
Okay. Here we go. This goes in. Okay, mix it up.
Okay. And it's a little thick, so get to use your muscles like going to the gym. Instead of lifting weights, you're lifting
It's
pasta.
hard.
Yes.
Okay, my hands are clean, so don't everybody freak out, but here, I'm going to do something.
Okay.
Okay,
There you go.
so
It's all yours.
great job.
Thank you.
Takes a village.
Yes.
So you did a good job, but what I also do to make sure that I'll use my hands and just get in there. I know some people are like, what? I don't want to do it that way. But you know what? That's how I know for sure that it's all
Blended.
good. Okay, so Deb, can you, here I'm going to put the, can you turn the stove back on?
Sure.
Okay, on towards high. Okay, we're pouring this back in.
Here it's sizzle. You want that? Or you just use your hands?
Just use my hands. Who needs spoons?
Yeah.
What?
Hands
Okay.
work so well.
It does. Okay. You can hear it sizzling.
Uh-huh.
Ah, it's beautiful. Okay, and I'm moving things around because I like the food to look pretty. So get the tomatoes there. Okay, so now what we're doing is,
Remove those tomatoes from that.
yeah, is we are
Get to
letting
second
it
slice.
crackle. Turn it down just a tad for 3 minutes. So if somebody can time about 3 minutes.
Okay, I'm looking
Okay.
at the clock. I'll let you know.
And then this is going to go in, after 3 minutes, it's going to go into the oven, as I said, 400 degrees for about 25 minutes, at which point we're going to pull it out. We'll put some more Parmesan. Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I'm like,
I'm her sous chef.
help, my hands feel like, ugh. It has a lot of goodness in my
Yes,
hands.
yes. Maybe it's a new hand treatment.
Well, here's a little tip for some people. Olive oil is really, really good for your skin.
Yes.
Totally good for your skin. And so sometimes if you're cooking with it and you have a little bit of extra olive oil on a panner, get it, rub it on your hands, rub it on your arms. It's
Add a little salt.
It's really good, I'm telling you.
It would be like a face scrub.
They're putting olive oil now in moisturizers.
Oh, okay, there you go.
So there's a place in Ojai where she sells her moisturizer, and it's got olive oil.
There you go.
And I understand there's one individual, a very famous person, who just launched her own beauty products, and she has olive oil also
Nice.
in her beauty products. Okay, so I think this is probably pretty good.
Yeah.
You can hear it crackling. You can.
So it just seals the bottom. Is that searing it?
It's searing it. So it not only is it searing it, but you can serve this a variety of ways. One way is right out of the oven, and you'll see that it's all brown. Or you can invert it, and the brown part will
On
show
the top.
will show
and
on
you cut
top.
it like a pie.
Exactly.
Nice.
So it looks great. It's easy.
And then when do you add the parsley and the
At
cheese?
the very end. So
When you bring it out of the oven?
This little cheese will be added at 25-minute mark.
Okay.
And this is at the very end once we're ready to serve.
Okay, and what about the other cheese?
That was leftover extra
Okay.
cheese.
Okay.
Because you can't have enough cheese.
That is true.
So if we want more cheese, we can sprinkle it
Okay.
in. Okay, so I think this is about 3 minutes, so let's stick
Okay.
it in the oven.
Okay.
So I'm going to shut this off. Hopefully I'm doing this right. Okay, so Deb, you want to catch the
Sure.
oven, the top oven for me, and let's stick it in.
All right.
Okay. So you need to make sure that you have a pan that can go into the oven.
Now, not all pans can go into the oven, correct?
Correct, right. So these definitely can.
Okay.
So, through the magic of television,
Da-da-da!
we have one here, and you have it might be hot.
Oh, it is hot. Wait, let me grab the,
Yes.
hold on.
I have one right there, yes.
It got moved. Norma's wonderful
Oh,
cooking
so,
gloves.
I used to burn myself constantly, and then my family said enough. And it was all oven burns.
You like how I did that, doctor?
Yes, I know. I felt like we're in an operating
Put it
room.
on the.
Okay,
on there
here we
because
go. Here's one that's already been done.
it's hot. Okay, and then we'll get the platter to flip it.
Absolutely. Okay, so what I'm thinking, I kind of like the pretty side up.
Okay.
So let's see if,
Do you want to? You don't want to knife cut.
well, let's see if this is going to work. Oh, you know what?
Well, that'll be beautiful. There we go.
Okay.
And then
Now-
you sprinkle your cheese first.
Yes. So now I had already put cheese on here at that 25-minute mark, but I'm going to put a little bit more.
Because you never can have enough
Right.
cheese.
And we eat with our eyes. So, and then
Wow, that looks
and
so
this is
good.
parsley that's been rough chopped. You don't need too much, but again, you're fixing it up.
And there you go.
And then we have the spaghetti frittata with the cheese and the parsley.
It looks beautiful and it smells delicious.
It does. So let's take it over to the counter.
Okay, let's go. It looks so good and it smells even better.
Oh, it does. Okay.
So you cut that and
Yes.
I'll pour our mimosas. 'Cause you gotta have mimosas.
Absolutely. So the beautiful thing about this dish is how much it costs to make.
How much is it?
Altogether, it costs under $7.
Oh my gosh.
Now, I figured out what it costs per grape, per asparagus. I got things on sale. And keep in mind that the asparagus and other things are optional. So let me do one here. Oh, it looks so nice.
Yum.
There
Thank
we
you.
go. Let me cut one more piece because that other piece was big. I cut it as though I was serving my boys. Those boys can put away pasta. Okay.
This
There we
looks
go.
wonderful. So
So
I'm gonna
wrap it
try
up.
bone apple. Oh,
Oh,
do we do it? Do we do?
yes, cheers.
Oh,
I think we're going to spill. Okay.
that's not gonna.
Whoa,
Wait.
whoa.
That's not gonna work.
Okay, we tried it. Don't try this at home.
Enjoy what's cooking. Woohoo! Yummy.
Okay.
Now for the good stuff.
Let's see how this is. And as we said, this could be served with a green salad. You can add meat to it.
Oh my god. So good.
It is good.
A definite winner. I'm gonna try you. Here. So normally we would serve the Grapefruit Alaska first, but as you can see, you just kind of go in and see how easy it comes out. A little bit too easy here. I want to get the topping on there.
Oh, that's really good.
Isn't that good?
And the beauty of this is that, as you said, it can be served before your entree or even after.
Right. You can do whatever, because there's always time to eat. Good job, Norma.
Good job, Deb. Here we go. Well, we hope you've enjoyed this segment of What's Cookin'.